because the ancient parchments were carved into wooden tablets. They referred to these tablets as trees, just as the tree of life is an ancient scroll, unquote. Scroll number 120 is Jesus God gives us an even broader view of the tree, starting with the question on page 13, which asks, is the name of the highest and other similar names found anywhere else beside the Holy Bible? And the answer was yes. Speaking, yes. In the scroll tablet called Sapphire Stone, also found in the Ethiopian Apocryphal of the 2 volumes of Enoch, son of Jared, and Silham, Genesis 5, 1 through 19. The sapphire stone was actually 3 stones, or 3 sets of stones. The Sardius stone, or ruby, the sapphire or blue stones, and the emerald green stones, representing knowledge, wisdom, understanding. On the sapphire stone was engraved the higher signs of the holy wisdom of time. The blue or sapphire stones had knowledge of Dameka, agreeable, and Lemnu, disagreeable. The red or Sardius stone had knowledge of all types of attractions, stimulants, pleasures, seductions, and sexuality. The green or emerald stone contained knowledge of the tree of life. Inside the sapphire stone are all the true names and the most powerful names, and the 72 different kinds of knowledge were contained thereon, which were divided into 670 signs of the highest mysteries and 1,500 secret keys, and in all 720 degrees, 360 degrees of spiritual knowledge, 360 degrees of physical knowledge, of which such is not entrusted except to the holy ones, Ha'afanim, the thrones of a higher realm, the 5th plane or dimension. The very angels had to be taught from this scroll. Kadmon saw and learned about this sacred stone. He was born in the spiritual plane first of the seraphim and knew Towbeh good. However, the shape-shifting serpent Zuen Shamgaz, the reptilian Nachash or Chanes, fed Nakeba Eve vanity and persuaded her to partake of this tree. Genesis 1 and Genesis 3, 1 through 5, and 2 Corinthians 11, 3. Which she in turn persuaded her husband Kadmon Adam to partake of the fruit of the tree. Do you see where Zuen, Shamgaz, and Tehuti are being depicted as the same being in both stories? Let's move on. The spot where the Kaaba is erected today in Mecca is the exact spot where the sapphire stone was unearthed along with the onyx stone. So he, Kadmon, and Nakeba Eve dared to sneak and read from the Sardius red stone, the ruby stone, and the sapphire stones, which is another name for the Akasha records, which was in the middle of the enclosed garden of the light in Eden, beneath the tree. Now knowing Dameka, good, and Lemnu, evil, which is a symbol of the tree at the roots of the pyramid. The tree is the tree of knowing good from evil, because it is here that Kadmon learned about will. The tree is also called the tree of Thoth, from Thoth, or the Egyptian deity Djihuti, Zihuti, Tehuti, deity of writing and time, also known as Hermes. So, actually, beneath this symbolic tree were mysteries contained inside the Akasha records. The Akasha records are the tablets of destiny, and the word Akasha is a Sanskrit word that means destiny or ether. The sapphire stone was recorded. The sapphire stone was recorded in a form of cuneiform called Attis. Which is the Hebrew word for tree, and is called Asar. In Moorish Arabic, it was named this because this form of script was based on the horizontal and vertical branches of a tree. This tree script was created by the Nitiru. And there were no other books recorded in this script. This knowledge has been hidden until now. Once it was taken from beneath the tree of knowledge, it was hidden inside the pyramid. I, Amunubi Re Akhbata, am coming up from the 9th chamber to teach you what has laid hidden for far too long. On page 23 of the same scroll reads, the Elohim judges God's angels don't want you to read the holy tablets. They don't want you to read the holy tablets or Akasha records. Tablets of all, the tablets of destiny. Genesis 3:24 through 20, Genesis 3:22 through 24. So, as you can see, people, the tree of Tehuti has nothing to do with Tehuti's phallus and females drinking his elixir of gold of the Nitiru, but rather the tree of life is the holy tablets. The tree of life is the holy tablets. Now, wouldn't that be strike 3 or strike 8? Let us now return to the real liar. So what took place when she drank the liquid gold, the elixir of Panditirat? Her physical body transformed and the process took place. Notes Bartholin gland on the inside of a vaginal orifice started to secrete a lubricant like mucus, like the vulvar urethral glands in Panditiru. Now pay close attention to these following statements. This discharge fluid is the liquid gold and is the semen, spermatozoa. And not as all females of earth after her can produce seminal fluids on their own without male. So being she was first to be transformed as a female, she received the mitochondrial DNA, the gene responsible for transfer to the child. It is hereditary. It is from the mother, not the father. It's from Nut, not Gib. She was the first to be transformed. Doesn't this sound like a petty tit-for-tat argument? Like someone saying, see that? The female is superior to the male? There's also a noticeable change in the tone of the literature at that point. However, right knowledge teaches us that the mother mitochondria is from the father, and the mitochondria DNA is from the mother. Let us refer to Holy Tablets, chapter 1, tablet 853, for an even broader view on this mother mitochondria, which is in the male, the father. Now, verse 53 states, the simplest particle of life is hydrogen 1, H1, hydrogen, which is smaller than that is a quark, of which atoms are composed. The atom is the smallest unit of an element that retains all the element's properties. All things are made of atoms, which are composed of quarks, and even smaller called exotic mesons or biapps, such as protons, units of positive electricity, neutrons, units of neutral electricity, and electrons, electrically negative parts of the atom, to name a few, which are made up of Z or zeal. Together they form a specific pattern. The zeal is the smallest part of any substance. This is called quantum physics speaking. This is called quantum physics, my child, the doorway to reality. The atom is too small to be seen even with the most powerful electron microscope, yet all that is in parts and is a part of the existence. The average diameter of an atom is approximately 1 billionth of an inch. At the center of an atom is a smaller particle called a quark, the father of energy, which in itself is produced by the mother of all energy, biapps, as in the cell, beneath the cell, or in the DNA or deoxyribonucleic acid. Then there is the nucleus, a dense cluster of protons and neutrons on the outside of a quark. Why do we refer to it as the mother? The mother mitochondria, located on the Y chromosome, is the male equivalent to mitochondria DNA called YAP-DNA. Let me repeat that. The mother mitochondria, located on the Y chromosome, is the male equivalent to mitochondria DNA called YAP-DNA. That is the same as when a female is pregnant with a male child, only without the male sperm, as in a so-called asexual cell splitting into a daughter. Speaking about a male, do you follow? This practice of splitting and parting and becoming individual life forms is only found in the mother. So in actuality, asexual cells are really F-sexual cells or for female sexuality. The word mitochondria is from Greek mitos, warped thread, and Greek chondrion, diminutive of chondros, for grain or granule. Mitochondria are the tiny bodies within a cell that are responsible for the production of energy through breakdown of sugars. The mitochondria DNA is in the female, which produces a male in an asexual fashion. Do you follow? Male, female, mother mitochondria, mitochondria DNA. This is your original hermaphrodite, which comes from Hermaphroditus, the son of Hermes, the son of Zeus and Maya, and Aphrodite, the daughter of Uranus. When you look at the word phonetically, you see her, H-E-R, as a three-letter prefix, and her is always identified with she, female gender. As as in most cases, yet it includes male strands that create Y chromosomes. This is the nature God of literature, people. He has the capability of conveying information to us in the English language, so much so that if we do not study diligently, thoroughly and meticulously dissect his words, we will be totally misinformed, lost. So, the mother mitochondria or YAP DNA is in the male. It carries heredity in males. As carriers of the Y chromosome, men are responsible for the male gender, thus heredity. In scroll number 51, the baptism ceremony continues on page 60 by saying, when blood cells or bone marrow is taken from the bone, it is only extracted from certain bones. The breastbone or sternum in adults, and from the upper part of the tibia, the inner larger bone of the lower leg. In children, the method in which samples of bone marrow is taken is by the aspiration technique, suction through a hollow needle. So this made Nakebao not only a clone of Cadmon, but also a hybrid. Although the first hybrid was called Adam, he was originally called Lulu Amilu, primitive worker. He was neutral sex, a hermaphrodite, until female was taken out of his genes. The original male species were given the chromosomes to reproduce, X and Y, female and male, being able to reproduce without a mate. However, the female species is a hybrid of the male species and cannot reproduce by herself. Taken from scroll number 53, marriage ceremony, page 36. The scientist Nurgal performed gene splicing at the same time he removed Cadmon's barytheric gland by taking bone marrow out of Cadmon and placing it in Nakebao so that she would be able to procreate. The X and Y chromosome movement. Thus, Nakebao was the first person to receive a blood transfusion, unquote. Page 33, page 35 of the scroll 53 in marriage ceremony informs us that a hybrid is the offspring of two parents that belongs to a different species or stock or breed and usually cannot reproduce, unquote. Thus, if females are hybrids and cannot reproduce or reproduce herself, then this quote in the real liars, which says this discharge fluid is liquid gold and is semen or spermatozoa, and not as well as all females of earth after her can produce seminal fluid on their own without male, unquote. Spermatozoa fertilizes the ovum or the egg of a female. So, you messengers need to explain to us why are females producing spermatozoa if they are hybrids and are unable to reproduce. You're dead busted. Strike, strike, strike. Now, before we go any further, let us delve into the right knowledge of who is Geb, as found in scroll, the sacred Egyptian initiation rites of the Nibiru on page 15. The Nitir Gab or Geb, who is often spelled Seb, S-E-B, or Zeb, Z-E-B, as the son of Shu, the Nitir Geb as the son of Shu, and Tefnot, the Nitir Geb as the son of Shu, and Refnot or Tefnot. The word Seb means time. He represents Ta, earth. In ancient times, it was recorded that Seb, the earth, and Shu, the air, was lacking Re, the sun, fire. You had the day sun and the night sun. The day sun was Azaru. The day sun was Azaru. The day sun was Azaru. And the night sun, the right eye, and the night sun, called the moon, and the left eye was Haru. And Tefnut was the water to complete the 4 ingredients needed for creation and sustaining of life on earth. Geb was the personification of Ta, earth. In one pyramid text, it states that the deceased entered into Geb. As Nitir of the earth, he bore the plants which grew on his back. Water too sprang forth from him. According to an ancient myth, Geb together with the sky, Nitirti Nut, produced Ra the sun. Hence he became the father of the Nitiru. Are you listening? He passed his earthly authority to Asaru Osiris, then to Haru Horus, and finally to the ruler who was therefore called heir to Geb. Like all cosmic Nitir, Geb was represented anthropomorphically, personifying as a human in human form. His sign, however, was a goose, for which reason Aset was once called the egg of the goose. Aset, his daughter, was once called the egg of the goose. Geb is sometimes represented with the goose surmounting his head, but it is said that he had made his way through the air in the form of a goose. Being the Nitir of Ta earth, he had authority in the underworld. He is the Irpa, the leader and the chief of the Nitiru, and is one of the company of Nitir Shel Nitiru, which watches the weighing of the heart of the deceased in the judgment hall. Because it is said all the deceased return to Geb, earth. Or as the phrase borrowed from the Tamarei and Mysteries, ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Or simply, the physical composition are composed of the same elements that make up the planet Earth, and in due time is destined to return to it, or Geb. On Geb eyebrows rests the secret gates, which are closed by the balanced Ra. Below his eyebrow is the left eye, representing the moon, represents the moon. The right eye represents the sun. Geb's consort, Nut, represents heaven. The hieroglyph of his name is the goose, for which reason he is called the great cackler. He is the goose that laid the golden egg, symbolic of the sun, which is Ra, was born. Remember the day sun and the night sun, the moon. Ra, who is called the primeval egg. So Geb is usually represented as a human-headed Netir wearing the white crown of the south and the red crown of the north, to which is added the Atef crown, that is 2 feathers on each side of the white crown with ram horns, the Uri, the sacred cobra, and the solar disk. Within the history of Geb, you can see that information was borrowed to create your stories of the Bible and Quran. Thus Geb as the son of Shu, the perceptive power of the mind, and Tefnut, the receptive power of the mind. We know that the result of the interaction of mental percepts and mental recepts bring forth certain conclusion called concepts. Therefore we conclude Geb symbolizes in man mental concepts. Are you listening, people? Asaru and Aset personified the cyclic phenomena of life, death, renewal. The second couple, Sotoch and Neptihet, personifies the principle of opposition. So the Tamarei Ayat reasoned that 9 forces, energies, Netir call them what you wish, caused the creation of man on earth. And why not? Does it not take 9 months to create a human child from conception to birth? This Tamarei mythology, mystery play, exhibits well thought out, coherent and rational thinking. The 9 created Netir formed the divine. Once the atmosphere was created, it was possible for Shu and Tefnut to beget Geb, earth, and Nut, sky, who by virtue of their separation caused the space in which life could take place on earth. To produce the required elements for the creation of mankind on earth in metaphysical, not actual terms. The Tamarei Shogib produce the required elements for the creation of mankind on earth in metaphysical, not actual terms. The Tamarei as Shogeb position, who personified the principle of material fertilization with his phallus directed at the umbilical cord, not the sex organ of Nut, female, and the matrix of creation. This, the separation of heaven and earth, is simultaneously cause and effect. Geb and Nut produced Aset. Geb and Nut produced Aset, Asaru, Sotoch, and Neptihet, the Ennead. Do you see that? Geb and Nut were never mortals. Someone is playing around with AU information. So in later text, the Ennead, the company of 9, was often regarded as a single divine entity. As a result of this system, we find the Enneads represented as a figure of Shu standing and supporting with his hands the outstretched body of Nut, with Geb lying at Shu's at his feet, unquote. So from all appearances here, people, Shu is the major player here. Shu is the one holding Nut over Geb. That would position Geb to be under Nut. Do you follow? So Geb and Nut, as the Ennead, should be producing their own elixir, because according to Pamakuret, and I quote, both Nitir and Nitirti as Nitiru have it, Mafkuzet. As you know, your gland that naturally produces it, Mafkuzet, was named your barytheric gland, unquote. Someone is not only maliciously playing around, innovating and tampering with AO information, they are just bold-faced lying. Strike, strike, strike. Now, with full understanding, let us now return to the point where we left off in reading The Real Liar. And where we read, and they both knew who the real liar was, for they did not drop dead, and after that both of them were transformed. The Udajat ad were opened, they realized they had sexual organs or sexual parts and were exposed, as was Tehuti. And when Nut raised his apron and exposed his Wadajat, so they sewed fig leaves together and made aprons for themselves. And Geb and Nut heard the voice of Nebes Shilpanitirat as he was walking in Padendera in the afternoon breeze. And Geb and his female Nuts hid themselves from the real liar's presence. Hid themselves from Geb and Nut hid themselves from the real liar's presence. Panebes Shilpanitirat. Do you see the disrespect among the trees of Pahut Bapata? And Panebes Shilpanitirat called out for Geb and said to him, "Where are you hiding?" And Geb said unto him, "I heard you talking in Padendera, and I became afraid of you because I was nude, and I hid myself from you." And Besenanga said, "Who told you about nakedness? Did you but partake of the tree which I commanded you that you should not partake of?" And the male Geb said, "The female